Hmm. Okay. Well, I mean, nothing's really happening today, uh, considering with the cryptocurrency space. Bitcoin is down like 0.61%. The rest of the market's kind of, either dropping or in like neutral territory, right? And it's not necessarily a terrible drop. I mean, even Chainlink is only like down less than 1%. Regardless, what the point of the matter is not necessarily what's happening right now, but what will be happening in about 10 hours and 30 minutes, and that is the weekly close. And that's essentially what we're going to be looking at for this live stream. I mean, I haven't really thought of anything to say. We can go over what I've been kind of talking about the past little while about Bitcoin while I eat my muffin. I just woke up. So because of that, mind the chewing because I'm hungry. So Bitcoin is currently trading up $34,170. The number to beat, okay, the number to at least be above the 50-week moving average is $32,323. That's about it. Um, so as long as we stay above that figure, we have a chance to hold the 50-week moving average. If we do hold the 50-week moving average, then a lot of things can happen. We can hold the line. We can continue to hold the line um, while we accumulate and just hold it as support. And in times like I can show you here, right, as well as here. The 50-week moving average is represented by the yellow line, by the way. So we do see it have long periods of accumulation at the 50-week moving average. Another option is that we immediately bounce, which is the nicer of the options because you get immediate confirmation. But right now it's too early to tell if it's going to be an immediate bounce. Um, other beyond that, where's another bounce at the 50 week? Here we go. Another one is kind of the mixture of the two. You see an immediate bounce, a wick from the 50-week moving average here, but we kind of accumulate just above the 50-week moving average before moving up. So that's another option that we can see. And if that is, and all of these situations are quite likely, there's not necessarily that one scenario kind of highlights the other. And that's why I kind of highlight both, like all three of them, all the different instances of Bitcoin being above the 50-week moving average, because it can happen. Any of those scenarios can happen. And does it honestly really matter which one which one does happen as long as the price goes up? That's my kind of opinion. The hope is that this bounce will continue on until we reach the 20-week moving average. And currently at the current price, we would need to rally about 32% roughly. Remember, 32% is a big figure, but remember that it wasn't so long ago where it would have taken us, we would have needed to rally 42% instead of 32% in order to get to the 20-week moving average. So obviously, with that said, the price is moving up. In addition, the 20-week moving average is trending down, so it's getting lower because these candles here at the bottom are replacing the candles here at the top, thus resulting the price to go down. So, uh, the kind of ideal scenario that I had in my head was that Bitcoin's going to come down to the 50-week bounce, come back to the 20-week moving average. Let's say it comes, like that, and then we get rejected back down. Perhaps not to the very like, perhaps not to the lows that we had these past few weeks, but maybe back to $34,000 as an example, and then the next rally up will ultimately break the 20-week moving average. Now there isn't any kind of hard evidence to suggest this is how it's going to play out. The only kind of the information that I'm basing this all off on is that every time that Bitcoin goes below the 20-week moving average, then rallies to the 20-week, it takes multiple attempts, right? This is 2 times. This took twice. This took three times, if you want to call it 3 times, right? 4 times, if you want to call this one immediate time. And then on the 5th time, it did break out. Let's see. Let's take a look at the other cycle. Yeah, the other cycle is the same thing, right? Immediately break the 20-week. We test it, failed, and the second time we break through it, and then but we did break down further. So there's that. What else? This is the only time I was gonna get to this. This is the only time where Bitcoin broke below the 20-week moving average during a run and immediately broke up, meaning that it didn't need to test the 20-week. It didn't get rejected off the 20-week. It went further up. And so because of that, um, what I kind of anticipate is that the likelihood of Bitcoin going back above the 20-week moving average on the first attempt is quite low, but it is possible. We've seen it happen before, but there are multiple times that it did it and it got rejected off the 20-week, came back down, and we had to test it. And we had to further wait for Bitcoin to break the 20-week moving average on the second or third or fifth attempt. Something to note also, okay, something to note also is that every time we do go below the 20-week moving average and we get rejected off the 20-week, we find a lower low, which would be interesting to see in the context of here. Because with this recent move, the bounce off the 50-week, you see a lot of people talking about the RSI breakout, right? We could show it here. A lot of people are convinced that this is the move, right? This is the move. A lot of people are talking about this. Now some take it to heart more than others, but my point, the fact of the matter is that Bitcoin's still in a downtrend. As long as Bitcoin is below the 20-week moving average, it's pretty bearish, I would say. And what I mean by that is it's going to fail to get back above. It needs to get back above the 20-week moving average in order to continue on. If it doesn't, we potentially have the trend to continue, which is down, meaning there's a potential for it to have a lower low once it gets rejected off the 20-week. So again, playing the scenario, come back up, come to the 20-week, get rejected. We get a lower low, right? Maybe $25,000. And then this 20-week moving average continues to go down. And then the second attempt, we break out. That is one example of what could happen, which would be pretty funny. Not funny, but you get what I mean is that people are convinced that this RSI breakout is the time when Bitcoin is going to rally. It's going to rally above the 20-week moving average. It's going to be golden. It's going to be very, very good. I would argue that would be very nice, but I'm skeptical at best. Again, the 20-week moving average is a moving average that we have only one time in our history broke above it after breaking below it without getting rejected first. There's only one time. If you think that's going to happen again, so be it. Put your money where your mouth is and do like a leverage long or something, or buy more. Get a loan to buy more. I don't know. But for me, that's not necessarily the case. In my mind, I do have leverage long, but it's my targets are probably a lot lower than the people who think that this is truly going to be the breakout of a lifetime. And again, apologies. This is my breakfast. I just woke up. It's 10:15 where I am, but I had a late night last night watching the price. In regards to shorter term analysis, let's say, So we're here on the daily of of Bitcoin. We already talked about the RSI downtrend, right? And I'm sure a lot of you have seen this pattern before. A lot of people on the internet are talking about this because it's a pretty long-term trend, right? I mean, this has been happening since the beginning of the year of this lower high RSI move. And then today we see, like the past few days, we saw a breakout. One thing to take note is that it's the first time we've been interacting with the 50-week moving average ever since the initial drop, right? After this drop, we've been dealing with the 20-day a lot. We've been dealing with the 20-day many times, and we've been rejected off of the 20-day many times. But we've never gone to the 50-day. Today we are fighting against the 50-day as well. You could see that it looks, if we're to close the day, you would say that, oh, it's getting rejected. But again, I mean, there's 10 hours left. There's no rush. But that's what makes today quite interesting, is because there's a lot of moving averages, key moving averages at play. Most important, I think you have the 50-week moving average at play. If it's going to be holding as support, it looks like it is. If we were to close right now, there's 10 hours left. Okay, it's the marathon, not the sprint. We'll see what transpires for the rest of the day. But if things stay the way it is right now, like if Bitcoin drops like 1% or something, i.e., Bitcoin doesn't have much volatility today, or movement today, then yes, we're going to hold the 50-week moving average, and then we can start talking about if it's going to be a bounce, which would be, something that we would see something like that happen next week, another pretty good green weekly candle, and then we could say it's an immediate bounce. Or are we going to be chilling out at the 50-week moving average for quite some time, for a number of weeks, accumulating before we move further up? And these are good questions to ask. At the same time, on the daily, we see the 50-day moving average being tested, a moving average that we have yet to test this whole time during this downtrend. And you can see that it has been holding as support sometimes during the cycle on the way up, right? So it's not the most important moving average in the world, but it's one to take a look at, and it's quite interesting to see that the 50-day moving average is acting as resistance for Bitcoin, and the 50-week moving average is supposedly acting as support. We don't know yet. Yeah, critic. I mean, those are pretty good. Yeah, there was one comment I had talking about that I should make a video on for the new kids on the block. What coins should you start with? Like that crypto starter pack. I think critique is pretty good. My my philosophy is that you shouldn't have more than 10 main core positions. In my opinion, about 10 is fine. Um, because of this. So you have the main two core, right? You have Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then you're gonna have altcoins, right? You're gonna have at that, if you're using the number 10, you're gonna have 10. You're gonna have 8 altcoins, 9 altcoins altogether if you call Ethereum an altcoin. So, with that said, my outlook on altcoins is pretty much the same for every single altcoin, mainly. Um, Unless you're picking certain altcoins that have interesting relationships with Bitcoin, right? In that case, those would be in a separate group. But because majority of altcoins act the same way in relation to Bitcoin, that means you're basically just investing in one kind of altcoin. Because if they all go down at the same time and they all move up at the same time, well, it's basically the same coin. And so at that point, you want to pick winners. You want to pick altcoins that have proven themselves on the whole So I would very much focus on the top 10, maybe top 20, and then have one or two altcoins that um, that are new, right? Could be anything. Could be anything you want it to be. In my case, it's Uniswap. Mine was Uniswap. This was my punt, and that's what I would call it. An altcoin that is fairly new, that has no price history, that you think is going to have an impressive effect on the market and have a key role to play in the market for the cycles to come, right? And so Uniswap is my play. You could have something different. I know a lot of people like PancakeSwap or something on the Binance Smart Chain, which is totally fine if that's going to be your punt, your moonshot crypto buy. That's fine. But I would say that that position needs to be heavily protected by bigger altcoins and Bitcoin, right? I always preach that Bitcoin should be the largest position in your portfolio. It should be the largest position in your portfolio. My portfolio right now, Bitcoin is 50% of my portfolio. It is 50%. Why? Because Bitcoin at this point below the 20-week moving average is going to bleed. The downtrend is the trend is down. And what happens to altcoins when Bitcoin's below the 20-week moving average? They bleed even harder. So minimize your risk by buying Bitcoin, and then you look at the altcoin Bitcoin ratios, and you see they are going down. They're trending down, and because of that, because they're trending down, they become better buying opportunities with your Bitcoin. That's in my opinion, right? Um, Cardano's trending down. You could say Litecoin has been trending down. Look at that, and then you have an opportunity to buy altcoins with your Bitcoin at a discounted price by the time Bitcoin comes back to the 20-week moving average. So um, the kind of coins is entirely up to you, right? If I had to pick, Bitcoin and Ethereum would be my picks. Um, they would be my picks. Like, and then you can replace the other eight with any kind of altcoins you want, right? I mean, honestly, it could. Like at that point, you're really getting technical and you're really getting into the nitty gritty. Um, and depending on what you want, right? Do you want to stake something? Do you want to if you want to stake something, Litecoin's probably not for you. You probably want Cardano. Again, so it gets very subjective at that point. But I think the key thing is to have a good chunk of your portfolio in Bitcoin so that you minimize your risk by still by it, and people buy altcoins because they really want that percentage gain. But I'm here to tell you that Bitcoin can also give you that pretty nice percentage gain, like very nice for the amount of risk you pay. So hold Bitcoin to minimize your risk when buying altcoins, and take it from there. And like another thing to keep in mind is to keep the number of positions kind of low, right? There are 2,500 different coins circulating in the market that you can buy and sell. Doesn't mean you have to buy everyone. Doesn't mean you have to buy each and every one. I would say bring it down to 10 at the most. Bring it down to 10 of coins that you absolutely love, whether that's you've read the white paper and you love the project. If you're betting on people, and Benjamin Cohen says this a lot, he likes to bet on people. So that's why he invests in Ethereum, Cardano for Hodgkinson, and for Dot and Avalanche. Like these are main reasons why he's investing in them, because he invests in people, people that he believes in. So whatever kind of metric you want to go about doing it, narrow it down to a handful of altcoins or cryptocurrencies for you to focus on and to have major positions in, right? Because if you have only $10, say you have $1,000, right? You have $1,000 and you buy $1 worth of 1,000 cryptocurrencies. Now, odds are a lot of those cryptocurrencies are not going to do very well. You might have you're definitely going to have a couple that do very well, and you probably end up with just $1,000 if you think of it that way. It's much better, I think, to concentrate your holdings to a lower amount of coins that you heavily researched on and that you believe is they're gonna last, right? Um, and then bet on those, and then depending on what coin it is, stake it, loan it, and just sit on it. If we're gonna go with Critique's scenario of holding it for 2 to 3 years. I love muffins, man. Love them so much. But yeah, coming back to Bitcoin, today's going to be an important day to see if we're going to break the 50-day moving average. If we do, be very impressed. It'd be a very good thing to have, because now we're now, if you're not able to break a 50-day lagging version of itself, we're in a downtrend. And so this would answer a lot of people's questions of, is this the reversal, right? Are we changing trends? And I would say, I said last week that it's too early to tell. A day doesn't cut it. And I made that on like the 22nd of July, I think, when I was like, a day doesn't cut it. We, like a day of 7-8% gains is not enough. We need to see consistent moves, breakages of moving averages, and holding up the 50-week moving average, and ultimately getting to the 20-week. At that point, that is a trend reversal. So we'll see. We'll see. Another good piece of evidence to think that it is a trend reversal is if, say, we break, we get rejected off the 50-day moving average, right? So we get rejected off of here. We come back down. We hold the 20-day as support, and then we come back up. If that's the case, I would say that's a pretty convincing trend reversal, start of a trend reversal, and I'd pay more closely attention to it. Other than that, I'm just sitting on the sidelines. Now, if you're curious on what I'm doing, I do have a leverage long on a futures contract. Now, my rationale is, now hear me out, and judge me if you will. I bought this contract. So there was like I think it was like a 4% premium, but on spot, I think it was around 30,000 or so, somewhere around here. So I bought somewhere around there, and I've been holding it ever since. I actually bought it sometime in June, I believe, and I've been holding it ever since. Now, my rationale in June was, we will come back to the 20-week moving average eventually. I thought it was going to be like this, and it would be at the 20-week moving average by now, but that certainly isn't the case. But I mean, this thing expires next year, right? I have plenty of time to wait it out, and that's what I'm doing. And so one plan is to wait until it gets back up to the 20-week moving average, and then I'll sell it. I'll sell the contract because I anticipate that we get rejected off the 20-week moving average. But more likely what I'll be doing is I'll just be selling a fraction of it. But I don't know yet. I have no idea. But we'll see. But that's essentially what I'm doing at the moment. Um, I don't know. I don't know what's happening with the market right now. Take a look at VeChain. Yeah, VeChain's having a rough time against Ethereum at least. It is down 72% against Ethereum. And as bad as that is, as bad as 72% drop is, what can you do? I mean, it's happened before, right? 80%. 68%. Yeah, drops of these magnitude happen all the time. So it's no different than what's happening right now. I think what's important though for people at least is to recognize the trend and act accordingly. Um, because VeChain was one of the better plays that I've made in this cycle. I bought here. I bought it with Ethereum here, and I was selling consistently on the way up. My last sell was around here. I did not get it at the top, but I got it here. And I would say right now, I did pretty well for myself. Did pretty well for myself. The future plan for VeChain, made a video on that a few weeks ago. But essentially, Binance is shutting down service in my country in the year to come. So, and that's where I bought my VeChain. So right now I'm kind of hesitant on buying anymore because I don't know if Binance going to be around, if it's going to have a Binance country specific site. We're using off the Binance US site. I don't know, but you know, obviously there's that gives me hesitancy. Another thing is just where the price is right now. I would start buying VeChain here. I'll start buying VeChain around this area here. And 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 accumulate there. I will not be accumulating where it is right now. I gotta wait. Another thing to keep in mind is the dominance. $0.28. Someone's asking about VeChain. Going on in the future? Are we talking about a multi-year timeline? If so, then yeah, sure, 28 cents is possible. 28 cents is probably very possible, like within the cycle. I mean, we've already gone there once, right? Oh, over 28 cents. Sorry, I misread. Um, you know what? Probably. Um, yeah, probably. A dollar might be pushing it. Somewhere between 28 cents and a dollar is what I will say. At least for this cycle. That's my guess. Um, oh yeah, back to dominance. So If you look on the daily on what's happening, it's a lot of debate on crypto YouTube on discerning what's happening is what's determining what's happening with this chart. And I'll give you one of the main arguments, right? There's Data Dash. Data Dash uses he doesn't use the BTC.D. He uses the inverse to look at altcoin dominance, which is it's the exact same chart. It's fine. It's whatever. He claims that we're not seeing higher highs, but we're seeing higher highs, we're seeing higher lows, but they're it's a neutral structure. Okay, that he says it's a neutral structure. I would argue that it's not a neutral structure. The trend is up, right? The trend is going up, and that makes sense. Why it makes sense? Well, Bitcoin's below the 20-week moving average. Because Bitcoin's below the 20-week moving average, altcoins are going to bleed harder. Therefore, Bitcoin dominance goes up. And I think that is the narrative. That is the narrative. Things will continue to go up until they don't. And you can't tell me this is a neutral structure because the trend is up, right? That's a bearish trend for altcoins. And I think will continue to go up for a number of days. I've talked about extensively that this move for Bitcoin dominance is going to continue on for 133 days or so. And the rationale I got from that was looking at every other uptrend from Bitcoin dominance from 2017 and onwards. They all usually last about 133 days or 154 days, depending on how you measure it. But this is it. Like it usually lasts this long. And because of that, I think that this move potentially could be around that same time frame. We're currently at what, like 70 days or so, I think. Yeah, we're at 76 days. So, a little more than halfway there. And so that's what I think. And I also think it's probably going to go up to like 50% dominance, which if you like, what's funny is if you take like, again, this is just a line, right? But if you take kind of the median of this trend, it kind of lines up with 50% dominance by 133 days pretty quickly. Do you think altcoins can decouple from Bitcoin in the future? Example like Ethereum. The Bitcoin dominance would have to be extremely low for that to happen. And yeah, it would have to. I mean, like a lot of people ask about the decoupling of alts to Bitcoin. And I think that you could see some deviation, but not by much. If Bitcoin drops insanely, like the rest of the market's going to drop insanely. Same thing with altcoins. Like you're not going to see instances of Bitcoin dropping like 20%, say. Like you see Bitcoin drop 20% and Ethereum rally like 15%. I don't think that's not gonna happen. At least not soon. Right. Virtually like this is how the market's gonna be. Bitcoin's will always be number one. Bitcoin's gonna have the highest market cap, therefore it's gonna have the highest splash in the pond that affects everything else. Can you make a list of coins you believe that will survive a crypto winter as coins? That's tough to say, man. I mean, obviously I'll say uh I'd probably say like the coins that I own. But yeah, it depends. Non-stable coins, if we're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum, probably Binance Coin. That's 3. Cardano. Um, and so when I read your comment, survive a crypto winter. So surviving a crypto winter, I assume that it's going to push to new all-time highs in the next cycle. That's what I'm assuming you're saying. So with that said, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, Cardano, Polkadot, I feel like is going to be pretty relevant. Uniswap, I definitely think is going to be relevant. That's 6. Chainlink is 7. Um, Probably Aave. Um, Sorry, I'm going down the list, but probably Celsius if it continues, if the platform remains stable, would be one. Uh, I mean, people really like Polygon. There's the Young and Investing who's extremely hot on Polygon. Um, and it's been around not that long, so you could maybe Polygon, you could say. Um, but yeah, I think coins like Litecoin, XRP are gonna probably fall for the wayside this cycle. We'll see. Um, Bitcoin Cash definitely. Dogecoin actually might be in that list too of coins to survive the winter. Not because of what's happened recently, but what it has always done for the past 6 years or 8 years. It's been around since 2014. It's an old coin, and it somehow always manages to stay relevant. Has Dot experienced the third Elliott wave this cycle? I don't look at Elliott waves. I'm sorry. I wouldn't be able to answer that. I will say though, it's a pretty nice drop. What was it like yeah, almost an 80% drop, 79% drop. Pretty cool. Pretty good. Oh, even Dot has like that same like RSI trending downward thing. That's pretty funny. But back to the dominance. This is again a main reason why that I preach majority Bitcoin. Yes, I am saying no to Bitcoin Cash. I am saying no to Bitcoin Cash. The fundamental reason of why Bitcoin Cash exists is because it was the bet that or I forgot the guy's name, but he believes that Bitcoin was supposed to be a transaction medium. That it by increasing the block size, you're able to put more transactions per block, and therefore it's more treated as a currency. I believe that the main narrative for what people see Bitcoin as, is more of a store of value and a means of accessing to other cryptocurrencies, because the Bitcoin is the biggest pair, right? You can buy any cryptocurrency with Bitcoin if you really wanted to. So yeah, with that said, because Bitcoin is now being viewed as, I think, more so of a value holder, something that you hold your money in there, and then transact to buy different investments, right? And not so much using that value to buy your everyday products and goods, like like I think Bitcoin Cash just isn't it? Bitcoin Cash is meant to be a like a everyday transaction medium where you buy your groceries with. No. And I would argue that 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 kind of narrative for cryptocurrencies has been replaced with stablecoins. I think stablecoins are probably going to be the transaction medium that we use for everyday purchase prices, everyday purchases, if we are going to be talking about that. So like USDC coin, Binance USD, any kind of stable coin do you think of is probably going to be the one that people use to buy, you know, everyday everyday purchases, not Bitcoin Cash. And so therefore, Bitcoin Cash is not going to survive. It's going to continue to go down. I mean, Bitcoin Cash hasn't even gotten to its prior all-time high. Its all-time high was $4,293. It's only gone to 1581. That's it. But yeah, as you can see, Bitcoin dominance is rising. It's going to continue to rise, and this is why you hold a majority stake in Bitcoin. Happens all the time until it doesn't, right? Eventually, altcoins will bring back bring back the fury. I can assure you. You'll see Ethereum start to rally. You'll see Uniswap, Basic Intent, like all these altcoins start to rally again eventually. But for the time being, um, altcoins um, altcoins will bleed. Um, yeah, altcoins will bleed. Bitcoin dominance will continue to go up until a certain point. It's probably when Bitcoin's above the 20-week moving average and holding steady above it is when we see a rally from altcoins. Another good indicator is just market sentiment. If people think altcoins are dead, it's probably a good time to start buying altcoins. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that Bitcoin Cash is never gonna rally. I mean, Bitcoin Cash did rally from what, like 261 to $1,500, right? That's a pretty good move. What I'm saying is that there are other coins that could give you better returns for less risk. Quarter one, first quarter of 2022. First quarter of 2022. Um, exact price, I don't know. But probably around that time, we'd be at the 20-week moving average, wherever that is, at least. At the very least, that's what I would say. That we would be at the 20-week moving average. And at that point in Q1 of 2022, that we're trying to break the 20-week moving average. Like this would be the move where we've already gotten to the 20-week moving average, it got rejected. We come This is maybe the second or third time, and this is the time that we're going to be able to break it. I don't have a streaming schedule. I just do it whenever I have time. I usually I It's usually the weekend, like Sundays. Um because I post videos during the week, Monday to Friday. 3 videos a day, usually, maybe two, maybe one, depending on what I'm doing. If I'm on vacation, I'm not posting videos. And usually the weekends, I kind of leave for myself and for my partner that I live with, that we just spend time together. So I usually try to do that. But right now she's out playing tennis with her friends, so I have time to just sit and watch the chart with everyone. So sorry, I don't have a streaming schedule just yet. Maybe if I have more traction on my channel, um, like there's more interest building up, then maybe I'll try to commit to kind of schedule. But at the moment, no. Yeah, thanks, Manny. Yeah, like what's funny is that I started this channel just as a personal thing. I wanted to document my thoughts on this cycle and see what I got right, right? Like there are definitely there are definitely times where I got stuff wrong, right? Um and I wanted to document all of that, of my thoughts at that time in the cycle, right? And then probably by the when we're in crypto winter, when we're all in crypto winter, I'll probably like view all the videos and see what has happened. But that was personally it. Like I didn't have much of an ambition to like make a YouTube channel, like get a lot of subscribers and like, kind of be a crypto influencer. That's not essential, not entirely what I wanted. I just wanted something to document. And if someone found value in the videos that I watched, then great. It's perfectly fine. Will there be more downwards move on the alt, especially Litecoin? Yeah, I think so. As long as Bitcoin is below the 20-week moving average, altcoins are going to bleed, or are going to struggle. I should say they're going to struggle, making new highs. Now, obviously, you're going to have like exceptions. Like if you guys have been on like r/cryptocurrency, Axis has been going insane, absolutely insane. I don't know, like, it's an NFT project, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's been going insane for the past 4 weeks. Yeah, Adam, I believe in lengthening cycles, in the words of our Lord and Savior Benjamin Cohen. I believe in lengthening cycles. Do I have a Discord channel? No, I do not. I just have a YouTube channel and a Twitter account that I barely post on. Oh, it's a gaming NFT. Yeah. I'm not too sure about NFTs. I mean, like, NFTs have existed for years, but they've been around for years. But um, I mean, I feel like it's quite interesting, but the market still needs to find itself. You want to check Litecoin Bitcoin? Yeah, sure. I haven't done a video on Litecoin in a long time because it hasn't done anything. I mean, if anything, this might be one of the moves that I gotten wrong. So we're currently at 362,000 Satoshis. I bought like here. I bought around here. So we're kind of at the level that I bought with Bitcoin at. But if you zoom out, my my theory was that when Litecoin Bitcoin comes back down to this level, we usually see a move up. We've been at these levels for months, and we have yet to see a move on the magnitude that we expect. Another thing to keep in mind too is that these moves are also catalyzed by Bitcoin being above the 20-week moving average and above the prior all-time high. So with that said, obviously we're not above the 20-week moving average. We're above the prior all-time high, right? But we're not above the 20-week moving average. So I don't think a move from Litecoin is going to happen anytime soon. Um, so what I'm doing is I'm just holding my position. I'm just holding my position and you know take it as we may. Bitcoin ETF, maybe. I don't know. I don't necessarily try to predict political moves like that. It's hard. There's arguments like the SEC, the new SEC chairs is kind of good on crypto. But again, you have the SEC freaking suing Ripple, right? XRP. So take it as you will. We'll see. We've been talking about it, a an ETF for Bitcoin for years, and every year people say it's going to be the year. So I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. So I wouldn't necessarily kind of keep like have my hopes up for that. Like again, I will believe it when I see it. Bitcoin's down 1% right now. Look at that. We can flip it to the hourly. And for reference, I'll do so yeah, you could see the yellow line is the 50-day moving average, and then we see the Bitcoin on the hourly. So yeah, you can see Bitcoin's coming down now. It's down a percent, 1.10%. Any guesses, you guys, on what if do you think Bitcoin's gonna break the 50-day? Do you think Bitcoin's gonna hold the 50-week? It's another question to ask. We have, what time is it? We have a little less than 9 hours to go for the day. 9 hours. It's so freaking long. I just wanted to close. Inverse head and shoulders. Where do you see that on the daily? I don't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. 4 hour. I don't know about that, man. Remember when people were saying this was the head and shoulders, and then we came back down, and then we saw the rally, and they're like, this is a head and shoulders. We're gonna go down. Um, July 8th. Oh, okay. I see. So you're looking at this, right? Okay. So what Can here is proposing, you guys, is that we have an inverse head and shoulders here. So by theory, we would see an immediate rejection off the safe the 50-day moving average, and then we come back up, and then we break it the next time around. Interesting. Interesting. We'll see. Again, I don't necessarily look at the shorter term time frames. I kind of like to do it during live streams because it's more exciting. But yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I won't totally discount that. Um, I just think it's extremely difficult to kind of anticipate short term moves like this. But yeah, any takers? Are we gonna break the 50-day today? Are we gonna rally later in the day? Hard to say. We're continuing to drop. One of the more impressive ones, just talking about altcoins here, one of the extremely impressive ones that I've seen is Aave, I must say. Now, Aave was one of the three coins that I mentioned to look for the summer. Um, so take it as you will. But it's been holding its moving averages very well. Excuse me. So let's take a brief look here. So the 20-week moving average and the 50-week moving average is moving averages that Aave really likes to hold, right? You could see multiple instances of that here, 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 here. And now we're holding the 20-week moving average for the past 3 weeks. So this is going to be interesting. We also see a downward line of resistance, which you could be represented. Oh god, represented by this yellow line here. So we've been getting rejected off of it every single time. We got rejected 2 weeks ago. So this is going to be interesting to see. We see that the moving average, the support and resistances are squeezing the price. So we should see some kind of breakout from Aave, whether that's a total breakout from the moving averages or a breakout off of the downward line of support or resistance. We'll see. Monthly close in a few days. What's your outlook? Oh yeah, July just flew by, huh? July just flew by. Um, yeah, I mean it's a we are seeing a monthly close fairly soon. My outlook, probably more of the same. You can kind of see that we're kind of bottoming out, right? You see the initial dump, but like we're kind of it looks like we're flattening, right? It looks like we're flattening, but much like art, it's subject to interpretation. It's subjective. Um, I mean, one thing I kept in to keep in mind is something like this, right? We have three support lots, three support point, potentially three. We have one, two, and potentially three RSI support points that is rising, right? So that's another thing to keep in mind. That's something that I've been looking at. I don't know if I mentioned it on the channel yet, but this is something that I was looking at on the monthly at least for Bitcoin. Um, to say that this is the case that we might be bottoming out soon on Bitcoin, and we can get back on track. So I would say if we close July, somewhere around here, and then August becomes like a green monthly candle, it's a pretty good. I would say it's a pretty good sign. I would say. Another thing to look at is just like the momentum indicator for the MACD. So in relation to the MACD, we're still trending down, right? Like momentum is down still, but I mean the MACD is the MACD, right? Take it as you will. This would make sense if you honestly thought that 64,000 was the macro top for this cycle, and that we're going into a multi-year bear market. If that is the case, then this MACD would kind of support your claim. Like we're far away from bottoming out. We're far away from bottoming out. There's still a lot of room to go down for in regards to the MACD. And in that case, we're nowhere close to being finished. $40,000 in early August. Yeah, I mean we'll see. I'm not. I won't hold Bitcoin to like prices just yet. We'll see. I'm skeptical at best. I'm skeptical at best because like the 4 hour is great, but the daily still shows it's a downward trend, right? Even the past how many, like 4 days of green daily candles, like the trend is still down, right? Especially if we get rejected off the 50-day here, the trend is still down. So this is all great, but keep an open mind. I'll keep an open mind on both sides, but yeah, it's difficult to be kind of hopeful in these times. I bet for a lot of people. Another thing to keep in mind, a lot of people talk about is the dollar index currency. Um, the argument here is when the do I do crypto full time? No, no, I have a full time job, and yeah, I have like I only have 1,000 subscribers. That's not enough to pay rent, my friend. Unfortunately, as much as I would like to do this full time, it's not enough. A lot of people on crypto YouTube also talk about the U.S. dollar currency in relation to Bitcoin. The argument being is that when the Dixie goes down, Bitcoin tends to go up and vice versa. So with that argument, there should be an inverse correlation to it. Um, um, and uh, I did a video on this a few months ago or a month ago. I can't remember. I You could search the channel. It's like the dollar index currency video or whatever. And I noted all the price points that the weekly closes of the Dixie, and there's no inverse correlation with the Dixie versus Bitcoin. So we're just doing it off a recency bias. So I wouldn't necessarily put too much stock on the Dixie. I mean, it's something to keep in mind, uh, because we're at a local resistance point, right? But we'll see. We'll see how that happens. Check Elon Musk memes. Oh, there's this. There's one on. Oh, I think you know what? That's funny as you mention it. Elon Musk posted a meme that I thought was so funny. Hold on, I'll share this. This shit. I thought that was so fucking funny. Cause that's my girl. That's my girlfriend. That's me. And like people saying like you can trust the government, or talking about banks and stuff. I thought it was so funny. One day, if you keep up the content, maybe quicker with the few clickbait titles and funny thumbnails. I guess maybe the funny thumbnails, not clickbait thumbnails. I don't know. Again, I'm not in it to make a crypto influencer empire here. I'm just a dude drawing lines on a chart. I mean, if this channel does do well, I'd probably like I'd find a way to monetize it, but probably a majority of it would go to charity because I don't really necessarily need the money right now. I don't know if you guys are part of this subreddit, but this is pretty funny subreddit. This is where I saw that initial meme. Uh, yeah, this one. This one, I fucking cried. I cried so hard. Uh, Up, Bitcoin's coming back up. We'll see. Bitcoin dominance is going up now too. It's at 46.76 dominance. Nicotine salts? No. But I am an ex-smoker. This is just freebase nicotine. 6 milligram uh vape juice. If you guys are based in Canada, these guys don't sponsor me, but Bargany juice, great at an affordable price. This stuff is pretty good. I don't know if they ship to the US. You could definitely look at it. But yeah, if you guys are if you guys have like a mod specifically, if you have like a jewel or something, I don't know if it'll you can hack it. You can like disassemble the pod and make it reusable and just fill up the juice there if you want, but I don't know. But yeah, these things are a godsend for quitting cigarettes. Just out of curiosity, I want to see. Axie Infinity, that's what it's called. Axis. Telcoin. I saw that popping off on our cryptocurrency. Another thing that I wanted us to also look at was Fear and Greed Index. So it's at 27. Well, obviously because the Bitcoin has been going up, but we've been kind of in this area for quite some time now. I'm curious when it's going to start flipping bullish. This is a pretty good like chart to look at. I would just take it with a grain of salt because it only started measuring since 2018. So February of 2018. So that uh, brings us to here. So the initial drop hasn't happened and the initial run up for the bull market never happened. So keep it, this is something that can be useful, but I wouldn't treat it as the Bible. Uh, can uh I don't invest in meme coins, unfortunately. So I don't have a comment for that. Um, in actuality, they'll always exist, I think. Um, do I measure the stock to flow chart? I don't use the stock to flow. I mean, you can use that, but I mean, another one is just measuring. You can use the BLX. You know, from bottom to sorry, just measuring it from bottom to top. You can see lengthening cycles. Right, they're getting longer, as you can see. 329 days, 742 days, 1071 days, and currently we're at 966 days in this cycle. But in regards to meme coins, I think they'll always exist, probably for a long time until things really start to get regulated. Um, Coins like Dogecoin will always exist, which can be a good or bad thing, right? Like Dogecoin was I made a few videos on Dogecoin. Um, if you look at Dogecoin, Bitcoin on the Poloniex, and disregard this, okay, disregard that in your peripheral, and you'll notice that Dogecoin somehow always seems to come back down to these levels, right? And then and then it'll just occasionally pump. You don't know when it's gonna happen, but occasionally it'll pump. And when it does, that's when you sell. Like if Dogecoin ever came back down to that level, I would have bought Dogecoin and just kind of sat on it and just wait for a move up like that. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined this happening. So there's that. Well, Dogecoin and Litecoin have been around for roughly the same time. They just have two different kind of viewpoints, right? Dogecoin is a meme coin. Litecoin is a, I don't know what you call it, a serious coin, a non-meme coin. Uh, so sure, it could have stolen the volume. Um, but I would argue that there's more volume now than there was, in the last cycle. There's more people buying, more people selling, more volume. Because like even like uh, where's the Wayback Machine? I can't find it. Anyway, I'm sure if you like look back 3 4 years, like you'll see that volume was a lot lower than it was today on the whole. Bitcoin's still below 40,000, below $34,000. Oh. And also, just going back to the Litecoin argument, it's a lot of altcoins that have the same kind of price movements as Litecoin. Another one is XRP. XRP has the same kind of structure. Basic Attention Token has the same kind of structure. Where is it? Same structure. Um, and lastly, Tezos. Consistent bottoms, consistent tops. Same deal. So again, did all these altcoins steal the volume of Litecoin? Sure. We we don't know that though. We really don't. Charlie Lee is not going to get hired by Amazon. Uh, I usually hold my coins on spot, Adam. So um, usually on spot. I have a futures contract position though. So I do both. But within my futures contract, I just pay a premium and I hold it. I have like contracts that expire of like 2022. So with that said, it's a long time for it to change. At the same time, liquidation rate is fairly low. I do at most a 2x margin. At most. In most cases, it's less than 1x. It's just my philosophy is that it's either I hold it in Bitcoin, right? So the margin platforms that I use, you trade with valuations of Bitcoin. It's not with Tether or something. So I'm holding the Bitcoin regardless. If I think that in the next 6 months Bitcoin's price is going to be higher, then I will do a margin. I will do a futures contract on Bitcoin, betting that of a long position, and then I'll keep the liquidation price low. Um, and I only do it sparingly, and I definitely don't do like a 10x leverage trade because I'm not trading on the hourly. I'm trading on the weekly, and so therefore I need like 6 months, 8 months for like for the move that I'm thinking of to happen. And then I profit. I mean, another thing you can do is just open up a crypto loan. So like collateralize your Bitcoin, get stable coins, and then buy more Bitcoin, and therefore that's effectively the same thing. I just find doing a futures contract is simpler. You just buy one contract. With a loan, you have to there's with the loan you have to move your Bitcoin, loan out your Bitcoin, or get a loan with your Bitcoin, get the stable coins, buy Bitcoin, um, and then and then do it that way, and then manage your loan. There's more steps. Um, but yeah, in terms of margin sites, there are dozens. They're all pretty much the same. I would say tread cautiously though. You know, again, people use margin accounts for various things, or use do options, Bitcoin options. They all do it for different purposes. So I would suggest also looking at other YouTubers that might do futures contracts and take a look at how they're doing it. Um, you know, because it's risky business. Um, Another thing to look at, actually, because I haven't looked at it in quite some time, it's probably like insane right now, but the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands aren't saying much. I don't trade Forex or other commodities. I trade stocks. So like for my stock positions, I'm mainly S&P 500. This. I have a position in the S&P. I have I actually have American Airlines, funny enough. I haven't looked at that in a while. Yeah, I have American Airlines, but that's about it. Mostly in Bitcoin, mostly in cryptocurrency. But I will say once I do sell, and I will sell, I'm not one to hold these for forever. I'll probably sell major core positions by wherever the cycle ends, and by that time, whatever capital I do have, I'll probably throw into stocks at that point. And probably, well, I don't know. Depends on how well the interest rates hold up. But maybe a core position in stable coins that I just lend out and earn interest on. As long as it's over 5%, I'm happy. Right now, I think the going rate on Celsius and other platforms, it's like 8, 10%. I can't imagine that lasting forever. It's probably going to go down. And if that is the case, then, you know, 5% interest is pretty damn good as a safe play. Also keep in mind, folks, Binance Coin. Now, this depends on you. Binance Coin is another play you can consider. It is definitely another play you can consider. It's been holding the 20-week moving average amazingly. Uh, and it could be a play that you can consider because it does very well against Ethereum as well as Bitcoin. And those are the kind of altcoins you want to have in your portfolio. Note, I don't have Binance Coin in my portfolio, mainly because I'm not. Binance is gonna end service where I live by year's end. So, what's the point of holding Binance? So keep that in mind. I mean, again, it entirely depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin decides to kick the bucket, break the 50-week moving average, then odds are Binance Coin is going to drop as well. But we'll see. A good example is that uh, during this is the new all-time high for BNB BTC, but here here was a time where a lot of people were kind of fearful about the cryptocurrency market, and Binance Coin made a new all-time high. So as long as Binance as an exchange stays relevant, which I think it will, and especially if people continue to use Binance Smart Chain, BNB is going to be an influential asset for the cycle to come. And currently, right now, it's number 4, and it's probably going to stay in the top 10, um, you know, indefinitely. Entire depends entirely on you, Adam. I hold Okay, so I have a hardware wallet. A majority of my assets are on the hardware wallet. Obviously, for Celsius is a platform that I use to earn interest, among others like there's Nexo, BlockFi, Ledn.io, etc. Like I have assets in there, and obviously that's not in a hardware wallet. So entirely up to you. Hardware wallet is the safest kind of storage you can have. Um, but you can't necessarily earn interest. You can stake through Ledger, which is what I have. You can use a Ledger Nano, and if you have Tezos or something that you can stake, then by all means you can do that. So yeah, I would recommend getting a hardware wallet. I would. Is it a must-have? No, it isn't. But entirely up to you. I would recommend it though. So we're seeing Bitcoin now just down 0.5% when it was below a percent drop for the day. So we're seeing a slight rally. See what happens. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say about this. I mean, the main reason why I just wanted to look at the charts because of the 50-week moving average and the 50-day. Other than that, markets are just being the markets. I mean, Ethereum's down 2.5%, Link is down 1.2%, Uniswap's down 4%, um, Celsius is down 1.52, basic attention tokens down 0.5%. So majority of the market is down, because Bitcoin is down, oddly enough. So nothing too crazy is happening today, which I mean you could attribute that to just it being Sunday. and just lack of volume. But what will be interesting is if we do hold the 50-week moving average, you guys, and then come next week, we see a response from that. If we do hold it, do we see some kind of immediate response on the week? And we can call it an immediate bounce or something else. But yeah, these are kind of the quote unquote boring times of Bitcoin where it's not really moving much. I would like to be a part, if I do streaming more, I would like to be on stream when like Bitcoin pushes up into an insane number. That'd be pretty cool. Until then, all we have is $34,000, which Bitcoin is now above $34,000. Sending triangle on what, the daily? Oh, just broke again a couple of days ago. I don't know, I guess. We're talking about like this. Is this what you're talking about? Yeah, I guess. That's a bullish triangle, I would say. Um, that's a bullish structure. I mean, again, like we'll see what happens because again, the trend is down, right? The current trend is down. We need to see some kind of reversal trend, confirmation of that. Whether if we use your descending triangle theory, if it comes back down and holds the upper line of support and then breaks further, sure. Another one is if we break the 50-day moving average, um, and or if we come back down and say hold the 20-day moving average as support. These are all kind of confirmation theories that we have. um like again, these are several different theories that could happen that can help reinforce the notion that the trend is reversing. At the moment right now, it's just too soon. It's too early to call. Yeah, I mean, on boring days like today, I mean, it depends. I mean, I wouldn't say it's boring because, I mean, we're looking at important moving averages. But, you know, lack of movement is boring. I don't know. I don't know how else to entertain you guys. If there is something that you guys wanted me to do, I'd consider it. No volume? Yeah, well, there's no volume. Um, so unfortunately, that's just how it is. I'm in. Don't, I'm still in. I don't have any, like I have money on the sidelines, but a majority of it's already in positions. Like yeah, I haven't sold any of it during this period back to like stable coins or whatever to wait for a further dip. No, I just kind of held. What I have done is I have created a long position on a futures contract that expires next year because I anticipate within now and the expiry of that contract, the price will be well above where my average price is. That's what I have. So in that sense, I am in. Now, probably what I'm waiting for, if you want to call something on the sidelines, is sidelines on altcoins. I do have position in altcoins. Um, I have a position in Ethereum Link, Uniswap, Basic Attention Token, Litecoin, XRP, and Tezos. But 50% of my portfolio is Bitcoin. Now, during the time when Bitcoin was around $64,000, my Bitcoin position was about 25% of my portfolio. And during that time, I started selling Bitcoin back. Started selling altcoins back into Bitcoin. So if there's something that I'm waiting on the sidelines for, is I'm waiting for Bitcoin to get back above the 20-week moving average. And then at that point, I will reassess my altcoin positions and potentially buy back in a larger stake in altcoin positions with my Bitcoin. That's kind of the sidelines, if you want to call it that. Bitcoin is now neutral. We have rallied back, you guys. Uh, we now are up 27 cents on Bitstamp. Congratulations. And Bitcoin's now down. Yeah, see, like it's gonna be interesting. Obviously, the 50-day moving average is something interesting to watch. We see the volatility up and down. Like you see it, it's a doji candle. So we're kind of having some indecision right now. So we'll see what happens for 8 hours and 53 minutes left in the day until we see some kind of close. And then at that point, we can reassess, right? Um, and then the coming days and the days to come, we'll see if this is a rejection, comes back down to the 20-day. And then the conversation at that point will be is if we're able to hold the 20-day, or if we break above the 50-day, then it's really like this might be our chance to come back to the 20-week moving average, because I think above the 50-day, there's nothing really to look at. I mean, we can look at the top of this range here, which is $40,000. Um, but yeah, like currently right now, where is the 20-week moving average? 20-week moving average is at 46,247. So it's around here is what the 20-week moving average is. So once we break the 50-day, the next step would probably be the local high, like the local high of this structure here, which would be about, to the wick, is a 41,471. Uh, oh, great question. So I don't own Zcash. I used to own Monero. I sold my Monero because um, there was a bunch of exchanges that decided to delist it, and now there's a bunch of because I'm in Canada, there's a bunch of Canadian exchanges that are now delisting it. So at the moment right now, I don't hold any privacy coin. XMR, like Monero, was the coin that I was holding for privacy, for my privacy hedge. But because exchanges are delisting it, I don't want to be holding a coin that I can't sell, and therefore I had to liquidate my position. Um, so it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Um, that's the bottom line. I'm here to make money, right? Like that's one thing I'll be honest about. Like I'm here to make a buck. I'm in this space to make a buck. So if I'm holding an asset that I cannot sell, then that's a problem, and therefore I can't hold it. It's a good question. Once Mimblewimble gets implemented into Litecoin, it's an interesting proposition because governments really don't like privacy coins, and for good reason. In the perspective of the government, now, does that mean we should all be rebels and just hold Litecoin or something or like privacy coins? No, because like again, a majority of people are like me. They're here to make money, and with the same logic of, well, if if I can't sell an asset, then that's a problem. In regards to Litecoin, I don't think it's going to get delisted because because Litecoin, I think in the eyes of the SEC is considered a currency. Like it's in the same status of Ethereum and Bitcoin. And so therefore it's kind of it won't get delisted in that sense. So I'm fairly confident that's gonna what's gonna happen with Litecoin. Mimble's gonna get implemented and nothing's gonna happen. Yeah, I know Grayscale has a Monero trust, but the problem is that I'm not an American, right? I don't live in America. I can't buy the Grayscale trust. I can buy the QBTC, which is the like the T like the like a Canadian Bitcoin variation of that. But again, if a Canadian exchange cannot sell cannot trade Monero, like that's a problem for me, and therefore I do not want to hold it, or I'm scared to hold it. It's probably a better way of saying it. Pretty light on news as well. Nothing's really happening. Take care, Ken. Yeah, see, even Monero is kind of we look at what's happening with Monero. It's got a pretty strong base, I must say. Right? Like it's been holding this level for weeks, but I don't know. It's hard to say what the future of privacy coins are, especially if exchanges are not going to be selling it or supporting it. It's going to be quite interesting to see. Do you guys have any Monero privacy coins? I'm sure a lot of people still do, because I mean, even when you look at it, Yeah, Binance still trades it. Kraken, Huobi, KuCoin. I mean, a lot of major exchanges still hold it, still trade it. Yeah, exactly. So as great as as great as like when we look at certain price movements, right, and we find structures within them and base our theories on that, they can get invalidated fairly quickly, right? Like the downward descending triangle, right? What we would like to see is some kind of support on it. So say the 50-day does get rejected, but we come back down, but we hold at say 31,650 and then we continue onwards, right? A good example of that as a descending not a descending triangle, but a triangle nonetheless, is the macro move of Ether Bitcoin, right? Let me get rid of these. So you could see resistance points, right? Support points, a breakout, a retracement, holding the structure as support, and then we're off to the races. Like this is a classic symmetrical triangle move. And so you'd kind of want to see the same thing with Bitcoin, with that descending triangle that you're seeing, right? It's kind of something that I would be looking for, or right, if you want to take in volume, for example, right, you'd kind of want to see like a break, like on July 23rd, you'd want to see a really big volume breakout of that to kind of help reinforce the narrative that this is indeed a breakout. Yeah. So there's that. The volume is low. So I think probably what we might see is maybe the 50-day get rejected. If it does get rejected, um, come back down, hold it as support, come back up. That's something I would like to see. Or Bitcoin can prove us all wrong and just break out at the 50-day and continue on and defying all objectivity, which it has done in the past. Bitcoin dominance is still up. Yeah, man. Jesus. Bitcoin's not giving us much. not giving us much. Ethereum's kind of not doing too well, but I mean it has been doing very well for the past 5 days. This is a structure if you guys care about Ethereum. This is one of the structures I was looking at. See resistance points, 3 resistance points. I thought we were gonna come back down to this level and come back up, but yeah, we'll see. Usually in these structures we break down, which would make sense considering the circumstances. But again, I'll keep an open mind. We've seen structures like this where it breaks up, um, but yeah, usually it breaks down. And then if that's the case, then maybe the 0.0526 would be the level to hold. Because if we zoom out, we're looking at on the weekly at least. We're looking at these points here as potential support points for Ethereum. Another point is this line here, which is that 0.045 that we could see Ether Bitcoin come down to. And if that's the case, that's a pretty good buy in my opinion. That would be a from the top, that would be a like a 44% drop. That'd be a pretty good move, in my opinion at least. All right, folks, we're coming in at 2 hours. I think this is the longest I can do a stream. Just to recap before I end it, Bitcoin is currently fighting for the 50-week moving average. We're pretty well above it. The number to beat is $32,223. We're currently at $34,000. So we have a pretty good cushion. As long as nothing crazy happens today, it seems likely that we'll hold the 50-week moving average at least for this week. At the same point, for today, on the daily close, we're looking for Bitcoin to break above the 50-day moving average to see if it does. If it does, that's pretty bullish. That means a further move up beyond the above the 50-week moving average, bringing in the narrative that potentially the 20-week moving average is 20-week moving average is a moving average that we're going to see soon. If not, then if we don't break above the 50-day moving average, then it's likely we come back down. We'll then at that point hope that the 20-day moving average is going to be the moving average that we hold before breaking above the 50-day. If something crazy happens and the 50-week moving average gets broken, well, then it's quite likely that Bitcoin continues the downtrend. We don't see a trend reversal, and we're gonna see sub 30,000 again. It's not like we haven't seen sub 30,000 before, but potentially at this point the trend is going to continue to go down, and we'll probably see a number that none of us would particularly like. But with that said, that's all for today, you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. I'll do my best to try to keep the streams consistent, but I mean, I have other stuff in my life that I need to focus on as well. But you can be assured that you'll get videos throughout the week on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, Uniswap, Basic Attention Token, Celsius, Cardano, Litecoin, XRP, Binance, VeChain, Tezos, Aave, and more. Thank you all for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.